Hey everybody, welcome to Muscular Development's preview of the EVLS Prague Pro show happening this weekend in Prague, the Czech Republic. Joining me all the way from another European nation, the UK, I believe, Giles Tiger Thomas, host of MD Global Muscle. How are you, sir?
How you doing, Ron? I'm in the studio. Apologies for the hoodie, but we've had electricians in doing some work on the house, and house is still bloody freezing. So, but I'm still in the Global Muscle studio. So we're making some improvements to the lighting and everything. So you'll see it in the next few episodes.
You should throw another log on the fireplace before we start. Can you? No, too late. All right. Yeah. Before we start, I want to thank you because in the YouTube comments I did a wrap up with Milos of the Egypt show, and someone made an observation that a lot of the American bodybuilding media outlets, pretty much all of them, ignore things that happen outside the USA, like as if they never happened. We don't know much about the other athletes, those other contests that happen outside the USA. We don't cover them as much. And I said, you're absolutely right, but we have a tiger here at MD. We have Giles Tiger Thomas with his finger on the pulse of Europe, Middle East, everything else that happens outside the USA, because I don't keep up that well with it, I admit, but thank God for you, man. And that's this preview we're doing today. I couldn't do this without you. Again, this is a lot of athletes that you're much, much more familiar with.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you've been to this show. You've been to the Prague Pro before, correct?
Yeah, I went to the very first one, 2012. Do you remember who won?
I'm always just going to say Roelly Winklaar. Did Roelly win?
No, it was Dennis Wolf.
Oh, wow. Was that?
Dennis Wolf.
And he won the Arnold a few months later, right?
No, that was won by Brad Warren again, but Dennis should have won.
Oh, you're so good with the years. Yeah, wow.
And also, in fact, you said about me being able to covering all the, knowing who's who. In fairness to MD, they're the ones that commissioned Global Muscle, which enables me to connect with the people all over the world. MD is the one that sent me to the Prague, sent me to the Arnold Europes and the Finland shows and all these different pro shows. So you've got to give a lot of credit to MD as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get to these events, And
MD is it's basically Steve Bleckman. Steve is MD.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Thanks, Steve. And High Tech Pharmaceuticals is our main sponsor for the contest coverage. Without their sponsorship, we couldn't send anybody anywhere. I'd have to stay my ass home in Boston all the time. So. All right, let's get into it. Prague show. I'll talk about Regan Grimes first, because Regan just had another win, which I want to say you'll know for sure. I think it's his third pro win. I know he won Romania before. I want to say he won something in Japan or Korea also before this.
Yes,
the year before.
He did. Yeah. That sounds right. So
he's never won anything on this side of the pond, but I do believe that was his third win at the KO Egypt Pro. He was originally, I'm going back and forth with Milos all the time. That's his new coach. And his original plan was just to do the Egypt show, but now he's decided he's going to stay over there and keep on going, try to get another win, try to pick up some more money. Why not? I'm impressed with Regan because at the Olympia, I was not impressed at all. I'm always brutally honest. To me, he looked so flat, so small compared to the bigger guys. And just 2 weeks with Milos, I don't know if you've been following all the pictures and videos.
Yeah.
It's the weight difference isn't that much. It's only a few pounds, but visually, he's so much fuller and rounder than he was previously. I think he's one to watch. I mean, looking at this list, there's only a couple people here I think are going to challenge him, and we'll get to that. But we haven't talked about Regan Grimes, you and I. What do you think about the new and improved Regan 2.0 or 3.0, whatever version we're on?
Well, one thing I want to say about Regan is he's not afraid to travel, and I like that about him. I respect that because last year he did several shows in Europe, did the British Grand Prix, did Alicante. And he was staying several weeks over here, this side of the world, prepping and training. And I tell you what, that takes real guts and determination to do that. And I really respect him for that. And I wish kind of more Americans and Canadians would come over and do that, because it really helped. There's probably not a mystery why this kid has got such a big fan base, because the competitors are willing to travel and connect. I mean, he could have shut it down after Egypt and gone straight home, but because I didn't see his name on the list last week, he's literally thrown it in at the last minute, hasn't he? Is that correct?
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on and does Romania too. Why not?
Yeah, fantastic. And also, so he's got to win. He's qualified for the 22 Olympia. He's probably thinking, well, why not? Why not stay next week? And I know what thing is with Milos. I spoke to Samson yesterday, and also Mohammed for Elamam, who were prepped by Milos as well. Yeah. And Milos, he did every single pro show for so many years. he likes his guys to do lots of shows. So that's why he was probably the one that taught Regan into it. Maybe Regan was like, look, I've won. I want to shut it down. And I bet Milos was the one to say, no, we can get you even better. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And I like that about Milos. I like the fact he gets his athletes like Samson and Mohammed. I mean, Mohammed's done 8 shows this year. Samson's done, what is he on his 3rd show now in so many, he's got 16 points already. And the Olympia was only a few weeks ago. So he's already got a serious amount of points. So Regan is, I think Regan's, I got really respect him for doing this show, but I tell you what, it's like what this year has been a real kind of like Austin Carr, what he did in a week from Tampa to Texas, 16th to 2nd, Phil Clayhar, 11th to 2nd, wasn't it? You know, so I'm blown away by what these guys can do in a very short space of time. So, I mean, I'm trying to work out whether Regan looked better at the Legion sport or Egypt, because I thought the lighting was slightly better at Legion. But I tell you what Milos has done with him in a very short space of time, it's very impressive. And I'm interested to see if he can bring a different look again this weekend in Prague.
Yeah, I know I'm getting way ahead of ourselves, but I'm very interested to see what Regan looks like after he shuts it down and works with Milos. He is going to try. They already have plans to. He's going to stay with him in Las Vegas because Milos is hands-on. He trains these people. He wants to handle every aspect: nutrition, supplementation, and the workout. So I'd love to see this kid. I've been waiting for Regan to just go that extra level up, just one little bit more, a little more size and fullness.
Milos told me that I think Regan's moving, isn't he? Moving from Canada to Vegas. That's what I heard. I'm sure Milos told me that. I hope that's not a spoiler alert.
Wow.
But imagine for a full 14 months with Milos, and Milos, like he said, he thinks he could be an Olympia champion in a few years. I don't know how soon he said that, but you know, see that he sees that potential in him. That's pretty incredible. But what was I going to say about? I was going to say something else about Regan. Then I forgot. Oh no, I think next year with a full 14 months with Milos, a bit more chest and arms, and imagine what he. I mean, that's a top 10 guy at the Olympia for sure. Maybe even top 6, because we like the good tall guys, and when those fill their frames out. You know, and the thing is, Milos keeps their guys' midsections nice and tight. He makes them, you know, do vacuum. Samson told me he makes them do loads of like abdominal work every day and vacuums and like drills for the midsection. And it's nice to see a tall guy with a good X frame with a tight midsection, thicker chest and thicker shoulders for arms for next year. Yeah. And I think Regan's going to look he's going to go to the next level.
When are you moving to Vegas? Next year? Everyone's moving to Vegas.
Let's move to Vegas.
I want to get to Samson, but first I saw Rafael Brandao's name on this, and I don't think we've seen Rafael for at least 2 years. Has it been that long?
Last year he competed.
Oh, did he? See, there I go.
Yeah.
Well, he's another guy, taller guy, just needed to fill out. He's got that classic shape with the little waist, the round muscle bellies, beautiful, beautiful physique. I think he just needs to be a little bit bigger, and he is a big guy. I've stood next to him. He's not a small man at all. But, you know, to win at a show like this, you can't be greatly outmassed. And I think he's looking a little, I did see some recent pictures. He looks a little bigger than what I recall. But I know you've seen him a few times. You're a fan of Rafael's.
I saw Rafael make his pro debut at the 2017 San Marino. And he was first, I think what was he, 25 years old then? And he was 245, 6'1". No, 6'1", and he was first call out with Hadi, Brandon Curry, Cedric McMillan, Tim Budesheim, and then he ended up getting 8th place. And then apparently his sponsors were very disappointed with that. And I thought, oh my God, that's incredible. I mean, he got first call out with the heavy hitters looking their best. And then last year, I had high hopes. I was disappointed with Rafael last year because he was looking incredible because he was training at the Dragon's Lair. He was about 10 pounds heavier than he was the previous year. And he was looking thicker, fuller. And then 4 weeks out, he went back to Brazil and it looked like he lost all the gains he'd made in that year. And he went back a year just from having that 4 weeks back in Brazil. I mean, I won't tell you who I spoke to. And he actually said to me, he said, look, he said, basically he's lost the muscle he's gained in the last year. So he literally looks like he did last year. So I was disappointed. I mean, I expected him to come in and walk the Alicante show last November. And he got, was it second or third to James Hollinshead? And so he got 3rd place. And I was expecting him to come in and completely walk a show like that. Right. And to me, he didn't look any different than when he competed the year before at the Cali Pro, the New York Pro. But what I've seen in the last few weeks, and I tell you what, I'm amazed how quickly this guy changes, because I've been watching his progress every single week. And I tell you what, if he needs to be around about 250 plus to really show the best version of him. 245, 240, it's too small for a guy that big. I mean, Regan's a similar height and he's 250. He was 254 the other week.
Yeah.
So if Rafael is over 250, I think he could beat Regan.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, the lesson is Rafael just needs to stay in Las Vegas, apparently. And then he can fulfill his bodybuilding potential. Yeah. I mean, still a young guy. Still, that makes him only about 30, 31.
Under 30, yeah. He's under 30, like 28, 29. Like same with Regan.
2017 was 4 years ago. Yeah, you're right, 29. See, I need other people to help me out with math. Okay, we got to talk about Samson. Samson has had a few second places now. He's come so close to winning shows. How many seconds he's gotten second place in like the last 2 or 3 outings? I mean, he's always second or third. He's always up there. And there was a kind of an outcry. A lot of people thought he was third in Egypt, right?
He was third in Egypt, third in Yamamoto, second to Nathan Asha at the RDUK, but he beat Nathan at the prejudging.
Wow. So, I mean, he's definitely a front runner for this. This could finally be his win, because he has yet to win a pro show. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, he's coming close every time. And I mean, Milos is working with him. I'm not saying he's a magician, but Samson's looking great. Geez, every picture he posts, his condition to me a couple of years ago, I was like, this guy really needs to figure out his condition. I'm not impressed, but I'm getting more and more impressed every time I see him, especially these last few shows. He's on the rise, as you say. Looking at this lineup, I don't, aside from Roelly, who we'll talk to, and Regan and Rafael, I think he's got as good a chance to win this as any of those guys.
I spoke to Samson yesterday on Global Muscle. By the time this comes out, Global Muscle will be out. I got Samson on for like a little quick 15 minutes because I just wanted to congratulate him on bringing another interesting look, and a look that many people think he should have been second again, because many people thought he should have been second over Roelly at the Yamamoto, which was fair because Roelly looked like he was guest posing at that show. Yes. And then for this one, because Milos was sending me pictures in the morning, and I noticed the legs. I said, because Samson's never had dry, grainy, detailed legs. They're beautiful shape. They've got nice sweep and got good calves and good balance, but they've never been really bone dry. And I said to Milos, and I said to Samson, I put on his Instagram, I said, your legs have never been this dry. So let's see what the upper body looks like. And I thought, because I begged him, I said, look, can you just, when you hit your compulsories, the way you hit that frontal bicep side trap, I said, can you just please hold the poses? Because you hit the poses beautifully, really aesthetically and very classic. I said, but if you watch how Flex Wheeler used to pose, or Sean Roden, they used to do that similar sort of physiques. They would hit it and they would hold the pose. I said, please just hold your poses. But Samson's on a roll. I think working with Milos has been fantastic. And also big credit to Milos for stepping in, because obviously John Meadows was Samson's coach. So for Milos to step in and really kind of and get his head back in the game, because Samson was really upset about that, and he was ready to quit, he was almost at that point, but Milos really kind of stepped up, and they've worked magic together. So Samson, I think I think he's got 50, I'm sure he said yesterday, he's got 16 points now. Wow. And he said, Giles, I'll just keep going. I will keep going until I get either enough points or a win to be in the 2022 Olympic, because I think he will be in the Olympic next year, and I think he'll be top 10. And I think in the next year, if he does qualify, I think with a little bit more chest and back thickness, I think we're going to see. I said on where did I say it today? It was in my column, my MD column. I said a 1993 Arnold Classic Flex Wheeler and a 2018 Sean Roden Olympia hybrid. Because if you look at his physique, and actually look at the way he hits some of those poses, and you squint a little bit, you can see he's got such, but just a little bit here. But I think for this one, I think, he's going to be a threat. He's going to be a threat. And it'd be interesting to see how he looks against guys like Regan and Rafael Brandao. I'm very excited to see how close he is to Nathan again. Yeah.
Now, Roelly Winklaar is in this again. Like you said, Roelly, he's getting better. I still don't see anything close to the Roelly that we all know and love. I want to see that Roelly again. Roelly, I'm sorry, guys. It's Roelly.
I was going to say.
Relax, people in your comment section. Roelly. But, you've got a really good eye. You've seen Roelly many, many times. What do you think is going on? Is he getting better as these shows go on, or isn't he?
No. No. I just, I thought obviously we've done Chicago, Alicante, the Olympia, the Yamamoto, and the Yamamoto. I thought he looked pretty. He didn't even look like he should be on stage. I thought he should be guest posing, and I don't think he deserves second.
Wow.
And you know me, I'm a huge Roelly fan. But but then again, we've seen guys like Mohammed Shaban, who they kind of and funny enough, the Egyptians look really good in one show, and then they look bad in the next show, better in the next. So I mean, based upon what we've seen, I expect him to look worse, but it's been proven with guys like Shaban that they can hopefully get a little bit better. Because the thing is, I don't see how he could have looked any worse in Italy. He did not look good. Even his color was wrong. His stomach was hanging out, and it looked like he basically looked like he just stopped dieting and just walked on stage. And so I'm hoping he's going to at least look better than he did at the Yamamoto. I mean, you were at the Olympia. Did he look that bad?
He looked pretty bad. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to speculate what's going on. I know the original story we got was that he couldn't train for a while, and that's been months. That was a few months ago now, right? So he's had time to train and regain the muscle. You know, and your theory was, well, he got really flat because he tried to crash diet and did it too fast, lost a lot of size and fullness. Okay, well, he's had time to fix that. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if is this the end of Roelly? I don't know. If it is, I mean, he turned pro in 2010. He's had a great run so far. 29. So 12 years. Geez, I mean, yeah, that's much longer than your average pro career.
I had Roelly on Globe Muscular in the year, and I said to him, "What did you do from that 2018 Arnold when you completely blew it? You were like just like a big square, to that 2018 Arnold Australia 2 weeks later where you dropped 14 pounds?" And he said, we just went on zero carb. He said we went on zero carb for a few days, and he said we didn't really carb up for that show. And then look what happened. The waist just looked like it had halved in size. So maybe if his coaches are going to look at what they did in 2018, that was in 2 weeks, what they did was miraculous. Yeah. Maybe they could do that again. And I think what they do with Roelly is what they used to do with Rami, and they used to try and bring him in too full. I think they need to stop trying and just let him come in. Maybe they try and, I don't know, maybe they try and pump him up too much, with carbs and filling out. And maybe they need to do what they did for the Arnold Australia in 2018 and just let him come in just a little bit, because he looks better like that. He doesn't look worse for it. He actually looks better. So I'd love to see that happen. But what I saw at Yamamoto, I was very disappointed by. I thought he looked terrible. But let's see if he can regain it a little bit, look a bit better. Because he looked very good in Alicante. I was there. I did the live stream commentary. He looked really, really good. And Nathan did not blow him off the stage at all. So maybe he can get back to that. And maybe we can hopefully end the season a little bit of a higher, feeling.
Roelly, if you're listening, we're rooting for you. We want you to look good and do well. Believe me. So please, we're not celebrating your downfall. Believe me. I want to see you back to form again. The Roelly that I saw many times and was blown away by. Very impressed. All right, a couple more guys from the Czech Republic. And if you're in the Czech Republic, why wouldn't you compete in the only pro show in your country? I saw this gentleman, is it Chicago Pro? One of the shows I was at. Slavoj Bednar from Czech Republic. He was I think he got second call out at the show I saw, but very, very thick, balanced, great condition from what I remember too. He was just up against some bigger names at the show I was at, with whichever one it was. But here he is in Czech Republic, home turf. I'm sure he's going to be peaked perfectly. And I see him as a first call out guy, even looking at this list.
I also, quickly before we go back to Slavoj, Lucas Sladl I saw was on a post down to do this show, but he's not on the competitor list. So I expect Lucas Sladl to be in this show.
Oh, okay. Well, if he is, then he's definitely going to be way up there. Lucas has won a few of the shows of this level before. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're just going off the list, guys. We're talking on a Tuesday, and this is the list that was available today. The lists get updated as the week goes on, because this isn't like the old days. They used to have to submit at the beginning of the year. They used to have to submit all the shows they wanted to compete in. They signed contracts, and they were held to those. If they backed out, they were fined. It was the old days. Now they can just be like, hey, promoter, your show's tomorrow. Can I do it? And we're like, yeah, come on down. But so all right. So if he's in it, but Slavoj, he's no joke. He's good. Big guy. Very good. Very big guy. He's good. No, he's really good. Last two guys I have not heard of, but you're somewhat familiar with. So from the great nation of Kuwait, Khalid Al-Khazan. What's this guy look like?
He was fantastic. He competed in Alicante at the NPC European. I think I've got 5th place in my head. He was first call out. I mean, he was compared with Roelly, with Nathan. He's very, very good. I think he only turned pro this year at the Amateur Olympia.
Wow.
Another Q8 monster, but he's got fantastic shoulder to waist, great condition. I remember seeing him. I think I messaged him after the end, the Alicante, but he never read the message. And I said I'd love to get on Globe Muscle because he really shone at Alicante. I thought he looked absolutely tremendous. So there's a guy, because I saw the name and I thought I recognize that name, and I went to find his Instagram and I found it, and I was following him, and I was like, yeah, I remember, because I saw the stage shots from Alicante and I remembered it. And I remember thinking, this guy he needed a bit more legs, but I tell you what, he was really up there, and he was getting first call out with a physique that still wasn't complete. So that's a pretty good place to start, really, as a pro career. Getting called out with Nathan Asha, and
Absolutely.
and looking very, very good in the pose down and everything.
Last but not least, we're out another Czech Republic bodybuilder, Pavel Beran. Not familiar with Pavel at all, but he must be pretty good if you know about him.
Had him on Globe Muscle a few weeks ago.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, he was 4th at the 2018 EVL Prague. That was the one that Roelly Winklaar was first. Nathan Asha was second, and he was his pro debut, and he got 4th place in that. He took a couple of years off. He came back to family, came back at the Alicante Pro this year. I thought the reason I got him on Globe Muscle, because, well, one of the reasons I got him on was because he was 13th place at Alicante. And yet when I was doing the live stream, if you listen to it, I'm going, this Pavel looks absolutely incredible. He's tall, he's wide, he was detailed. And I said to him afterwards, I said, mate, I cannot understand how you got that placing, because from where I was sitting, you looked absolutely bloody fantastic. So I was really gutted. I was really gutted from him. And I said, mate, please say you're going to do more shows. Please go and do Prague. So I'm really thrilled to see his name on that. I hope he gets a redemption from what happened in Alicante, because, like I said, through my eyes, I thought he looked absolutely tremendous in Alicante. He wasn't off, but he got a really bad placing, and there were guys placed ahead of him that were not, in my eyes, as good as him. So let's see what happens here.
Well, this is the Czech Republic. It's his home country, so yeah, I don't think they'll ignore him. I don't think he's going to get overlooked, so he should get a good look. Moving on to the 212 division. This is a guy have I seen him in person? I'm not even sure. Radoslav Angelov from Bulgaria. I've seen him in photos and super impressed with this guy. But I don't think I've seen him compete. You've seen him several times now.
Going back to the Open, did we talk about Nathan Asha?
No, was Nathan doing it too?
Yeah.
Oh God, was he on the list?
Yeah, he's on the list. Yeah.
Dude, I'm the worst. I'm the worst. Okay, well, there's
the favorite to win.
I hate to say it, but there's your winner.
Yeah.
I mean, if Nathan looks like he did at the last 2 shows, sorry guys, come back next year. Nathan is fantastic. He's put it all together. He's got the size, the shape, the structure. What he's got? He's got 12 pro wins now, right?
He's got 9, and he wants 10 with this one.
Yeah, he made an Instagram post after the 9th. He's like, I'm gonna try this Liverpool accent. Wish me luck. He said, 9 pro wins, not too bad for a guy with a long torso or something. Because people always talk about his long torso, but yeah, he's got a long torso. But you know what? Everyone's got some little structural something that you can point out. Yeah, Nathan, I can't believe I forgot Nathan was in the show.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Comment section, they're going to tear me a new a-hole. But man, okay, so Nathan, that's okay, even with no disrespect to Regan or Rafael or Samson, Nathan's going to be incredibly hard to beat. Jeez, yeah. He won the UK, the Arnold UK on 4 weeks prep, right?
Yeah,
4 weeks. It's ridiculous. And that was about 6 weeks ago, right? Something like that.
Yeah, he won Alicante.
So this pro win number 10. Congratulations, Nathan. Unless something
Yamamoto won the Italy.
So unless something goes horribly awry with his prep or something, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't foresee anybody beating him. So Nathan,
Well, I spoke to Nathan and I said, mate, because he said to me he was doing Egypt, because I heard they were giving away a car, but I don't think they did in the end. And I said, are you going to do Egypt and do Prague and do Romania? And he says, no, he says, I'm not doing Egypt now. He said, the prize money's not enough. He said, I'm going to save it all for Prague, because Prague is 40K prize money. So he said, that's the one. Plus he was in Dubai with Panatta last weekend at the Dubai Muscle Show. So, yeah, I mean, I think Nathan will win this one, hands down. But it'd be interesting to see how the new improved version of Regan stacks up, and I'll be interested to see how Rafael looks next to Nathan, because I tell you what, I'm interested to see how Rafael stacks up next to Nathan. But Nathan's just on a roll right now. I mean, I said to Nathan, I said, I think you could even finish the end of the year with 12 wins, mate, because if he wins this, he could still go to Romania. He could still go to Alicante. I mean, God, well, he probably couldn't get to Toronto, could he, in 5 weeks? Probably wouldn't want to do that. But,
I'm already hearing that might be next June anyway, but yeah, Nathan, well, okay. So Nathan Asha, everybody, there's your front runner. There's your favorite. So now we're turning to the 212. Thank you, Giles, for, if I didn't have him in this preview, my God. Thank God for Giles, everybody. Thank God for this man. So 212 division, Radoslav Angelov. I know I've seen videos and photos. I don't believe I've seen him in person, but excellent physique on this guy. Don't recall any weak body parts. Just a proper balanced physique, plenty of mass and condition. What do you know about Radoslav?
I remember when he turned pro at the UK in 2018. He was a middleweight, and he won the overall on the pro card at the it was one of the Two Bros shows. It was the June 2018 show, because I was head judging the wellness for that one.
That's right.
And yeah, and he was he's had some good placings. He's been second. I'm not sure if he's won one, but he's had some good top. He's had a couple of second places in, you know, decent 212s. He's only about 180 pounds. He's like Clarida. He's not a big guy, but he's very thick. He's like Clarida, actually. He's got that kind of, you know, round, thick shoulders, big, lumpy, you know, thick back. But a couple of years ago, his legs were a little bit he was a little bit imbalanced. He needed more calves, more quads. He came back this year and his legs were definitely thicker, but I saw him compete in Alicante and he was like Pavel. He didn't get a very good placing, and he was like, he wasn't, and it wasn't that strong a 212 lineup. And I think he got something like, he was out of the top 5. And I was really shocked, because to me, I mean, his condition was incredible. He looked as good as he's ever looked. He's really, really impressive, especially when you see him in the flesh. And he's, you know, I like the big guys, but I like him with the condition and the separation. He's got better balance than he had last year. So I'd like to see him get a good placing here to redeem himself a little bit after from Alicante in August. Okay.
And next up from Kuwait, Ahmad Ashkenani, who I just saw at the Olympia where he took 6th. Bigger than I recall, especially his legs, but the condition was not like it used to be. He's had time to fix that if he can. The Olympia was, Jesus, like a month ago now. Yeah, it's been almost, by the time of this show, I think it'll be 4 weeks between the Olympia and this. So he's had time to get his condition in order since then. Because, you know, he was second at the Olympia a couple times. He won the Arnold Classic. He's definitely one of the best 212 competitors in the world. If he's in condition, I don't foresee any of these other names beating him. So it's just a question mark. What's he going to look like?
I just hope they really drop like 5, 6, 7 pounds off him. Because the thing is, even if he does, he'll still be the thickest guy up there. Yeah. You know, I'd love to see Ahmed Ashkenani in Angel Calderon kind of condition, because that's a guy that's kind of surpassed him now, you know, because, you know, the kind of that similar sort of structure and level of muscle and thickness and width and density, you know. But Ahmed, now for me, he's got a fantastic physique, but you know me, I like to see that conditioning. And like you said, his legs are big, but there's just no deep cuts. They look spongy, you know? Yeah. So if I'd been him after the Olympia, I'd have said, right, guys, because I mean, I'm assuming he's at the top of the weight limit because he's so dense and thick. I'd just say, right, guys, get 7 pounds off me and see what happens and really crash it down for 4 weeks. Because I'd love to see a bit of a different look on him, because even flat, or even, you know, even 7, 8 pounds under what he is, say he was at the Olympia, I think he would look more impressive. I think he would look, 100%. Everything would just look more bubbly, and, you know, because I like to see crisp separation, and especially on a guy with that much muscle. Yeah, I mean, it's you know, fullness. Like when he came out the Olympia, initially I was like, wow, because I'd never seen him that big, and I never seen his legs that big. All of a sudden he'd grown these quads. Wow. Yeah, but you know, Milos is next to me. He's like, no. Look at this. Milos, obviously, he's not as easily impressed as me. He said, there's no separation. He looks like he's a month, 4 weeks out. And I said, yeah, you're right. And you know, because he was in the first call out, but then they kept him out there and they started comparing him to the second call out guys. I think eventually even a couple of the third call out, I think they brought him out again. So they knocked him down, but he could definitely win this. Now moving on to Steve Benton from Germany, very consistent 212 guy. He's been very high in the placings in a few of these shows recently. You know, he's won shows, hasn't he? Yes. Yeah, he's done Olympias. Yeah, I've seen him a few times. So,
he's someone that has potential to win this for sure. Steve.
He was, I think the first time he made his kind of big statement as a pro was when he got second at this show. I can't remember I think it was 2018. No, that was Ricardo. No, I think he might have been second to Ricardo in 2018 or 2017 in my head. But when he kind of, served notice of how good he was is when he did a very good appearance at this show. Like I said, I think I've got 2018 in my head. It's funny because you see him in one show and he looks great and you'll get like first or second, and then you see him in another show and they knock him down to fourth or fifth and he looks exactly the same. But I like his physique. I think he's really good. I rate him. I think he's a great detail. I think he lost out at Alicante to some thicker guys, but for me they weren't as conditioned. So he'll be definitely a front runner in this one. Okay,
now speaking of condition, I rarely post pictures of pros on my own personal Instagram page, because I mean that's what the MD page is for. Mine is all about me. So, but I saw a picture of this guy from Ukraine, Roelly Curvy. It's Kryvyi Curvy. Man, it was a back shot in the hotel room or gym. I don't know where it was, but good Lord, you could see every fiber from his traps to his heels pretty much in bold relief. This guy was just peeled and crispy, grainy, dry. I think he's going to be way up there too. Maybe even win this. Who knows? I'm sure I'm being a little overly impressed with the condition, but he's a thick guy too. He carries a lot of dense muscle. Very, very much someone I'm looking forward to see how he does at this show.
Clear winner.
Clear winner. Wow.
Yeah, I think he'll be the clear winner. I mean, last year he was always him and Angel Calderon they were in like 2 or 3 shows together. And Angel Calderon always beat him because he was so much bigger and thicker. And it was always like they were always like the top 2 in Romania, another show in, I think it was Alicante or Portugal. I forget which one now.
Yeah.
And then at the Olympia, Ole got 6th.
Oh.
So he was 6th at Olympia in 2020. Angel was 7th last year. And I tell you what, I mean, because he tags me into a lot of stuff, and he follows my stories and everything on Instagram. And I tell you what, this guy's been really, really working hard. And I tell you what, he's got a really nice X frame. His conditioning will be next level. I guarantee that, and I expect big things from him this year. I was really, really disappointed not to see him in the Olympia this year, but I think he'll win this, and I think he'll get a nice qualification for next year's Olympia. But I tell you what, prepare to be shocked with this guy because he is a freak.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that one picture I posted got like 600-700 likes, which is 6-7 times more than my photos usually get. People were blown away by this guy.
Incredible.
Last 212 we'll talk about is Samir Trudi from United Arab Emirates. Beautiful physique on this guy, size, shape, proportion. I just have not seen the condition the past couple of years. I think you said it was 2018 Arnold where we first took note of him, and he was pretty good shape. Was it 3rd place? Yeah, he was in pretty good shape then. I have not seen him duplicate that condition since. I've seen him at a couple of shows. I know I saw him once. It was either Chicago or Tampa. One of these shows. Was it Indy? I don't know, but I think it was Indy. But yeah, just the condition is not there, and I don't know what he needs to do, because I was just on his Instagram, and unless he can really pull a rabbit out of his hat, as we say, I don't see the condition there yet either. So I don't know what he needs to do, but it bothers me when someone's got everything but condition.
Yeah.
It's not like they're missing a body part. You're like, oh no, are they ever going to be able to bring up their arms or their back? Condition should be something you can remedy, something you can sort out if you just find the right formula, find a coach that works well with you, something. So Samir, I'm rooting for you. I want to see you in shape because I love your physique, Samir, but come on. Come in nice and shredded, please. That's all.
I remember when we saw him at the Arnold Classic, when we sat in the front row, Kamal won. That was his first 212 show, which he won, and obviously no one knew he was. Second place was Charles Dixon, who lost by 1 point to Kamal. So that was the best we ever saw, Charles Dixon. And then Samir Trudi, I remember watching him doing that frontal bicep, and he angles it like that. And I just thought, and I said to you, the lower quads, his calves, his shoulders, his chest, and it all flows. He's got a nice small waist, beautiful lines. And then you expect thinking, right, this guy is really going to be a factor. And the last 2 years, he's not even coming close to being in condition. I think it was a show last year, and he actually had not just water, but fat on his stomach. And it was it went down to a lower shot, and you could see it wrinkle. I was like, what? Why would you get on stage looking like that? I mean, looking literally 6 to 8 weeks out. But it really frustrates when guys this good just cannot get themselves in condition. I don't think there's any excuse for it. So really, I think he really needs to hook up with a Patrick Tour, a Chris Aceto, or a Milos. And really, because I tell you what, here's a guy, because he's still quite young, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he's probably early 30s.
He's got plenty of time, but, he really needs to, like, stop, because he's wasted the last 2 years as far as I'm concerned, but he's got the physique, and it's very frustrating because he's got everything there to win shows like this, hands down. I mean, he could be battling it out with Ole Krivian. Unless he's pulled a miracle in the last couple of weeks, then he's really going to be wasting the season, really. So if he doesn't do well in this one, I'd say shut it down, find a good coach, and come back next year and just go win a string of shows, because he's so bloody good, but what he's bringing to the stage is not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to add to that a little bit, because I've been to a lot of shows where there are at least a couple guys in the lineup where condition is just crazy, flawless, but they don't have a gifted structure. They don't have certain body parts, might be a little lacking. They bring the condition, and it's still not going to be enough, because they're still going to get beat by the guys who have all those things, the pretty shape, the structure, more mass. And then you see some when I see guys who have everything but the condition, they have all the genetic gifts, they have the size, the shape, the structure. It's very frustrating, because they should be in the condition that those guys who have no chance of winning, they should have that condition too. It's all about finding the right formula and suffering. You got to look like that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. Classic physique. I'm only going to mention one guy. Sorry, classic. I'm not familiar with a lot of things, but I saw that the winner from Egypt was not doing this, but the runner-up is, and I don't know if anyone else on the list is going to beat him or not, but we'll see. It's a gentleman named Artem Pushkov from Russia. I saw a couple pictures online. Very, very impressive. That's my front runner. I don't know are you familiar with Artem at all?
Yeah, I saw him when he did the show the other week, and looks really good. And like I said, I'm not familiar with the other names. So, but you know what, classic, there's so many new people coming through now. I think that category now is really finding its feet, because it always takes a couple of years for the guys to be able to either switch categories or train for that division. And but I tell you what, that I've lost count of how many good classics are coming through this year. So I'm excited to see all the new faces at this event.
Yeah, and this is a division where several times I've looked at lineups and didn't know the person, never heard of them, so I just didn't even mention them in the preview, and they end up winning the whole show. This could very well be the case this time. So if I didn't mention you, I don't know who you are. I'm sorry, but when you win this, we'll know who you are. Don't worry after that. So this show is happening this weekend in Prague, Czech Republic. I think I wrote down the website somewhere. It's Prague Pro. There's a website, guys. I think it's Prague Pro. EVLS Prague Pro, I believe, is a website. I don't know if they're gonna have a live stream. You can look into that, guys. But are you gonna try to watch it or no?
Yeah, I'll watch the live stream. Yeah, I'll jump in on that one. Yeah, because like I said, I was that 2012, that first one. That was, and for their first year, I was like, wow, if it's this good, this first year, imagine what it's going to be like in a couple of years. Because I remember I was covering it for MD with Natalia Mello, who just won the Bikini Olympia. And I said to her, and I said, look, because I said, who you got winning? She goes, oh, Dennis Wolf. And I said, well, I've got Sean Roden winning. And I said, if Sean Roden wins, I'll interview him, do the winner interview on stage, and you film for me. And I said, and Dennis Wolf wins, you interview. So Dennis Wolf won. And then I had to write all these questions down on a piece of paper as she was running to the stage, because I don't know what to ask him. So I said, I've got to write down. I said, write these 5 questions and then just ad lib a bit. Anyway, she did great. And it was, and then we went and I went and got Dennis Wolf back at the banquet. I gave him about 4 vodka and Red Bulls.
You should have given her you know how Arnold always asks us. For a while, he was doing the same exact 4 questions for everybody that won, regardless of division. How much training did you do? What is your diet like? It was very generic questions, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. Well, Giles, that's it. This is the Prague Pro preview. Couldn't have done it without you, and you saved my ass once again. I wasn't going to mention Nathan Asha. Probably going to walk away with the win, most likely his 10th pro win. Sorry, Nathan. I don't know, man. I blanked. But that's it, guys. So check out the show, the pay-per-view, support the show, and we appreciate you guys watching. I got to mention, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and click always, so you're always notified when we got videos, because we want your views, guys. I'm not going to lie. I want your views for sure. That's it. So Giles, thank you so much for taking the time over there in your chilly, was it Tiger Towers? Is that where you live?
Yeah, it's warming up now. I can feel it. The underfloor heating is coming through now. So.
Oh man, yeah. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching MD's preview of the Prague Pro. We'll see you next time.